Hey, new YouTube's Welcome Development. This is my 462nd weekly update. I'm trying to get back in the rhythm and stay on top of doing these every week now. And I actually realized, I think on like the last 4 or 5 updates, I have been wearing the same shirt. I promise you, I do not record all these in the same day. I happen to have at least two of these official Strongman Games volunteer shirts. I thought I had three, but they're super comfortable, and I like wearing them quite often. And well, that's just all there is to it. I just happen to keep grabbing them back out of the pile uh, every Friday, just because they're comfortable and I look pretty good in them. So I like that. And yeah, so I wear them quite often. I'll try to wear a different shirt next week, so you know people can believe me, I guess. But this week's gone pretty okay. It has some ups and downs, and I um, was a little ambitious on things. I had a couple, three really, really good weeks there, um, and decided to sort of push it some more this week. And the ironic thing is, deloaded on like 2 exercises last week between squats and deadlifts, just because I was so beat up from that, from helping out at that show. And then the ironic thing is the squats actually went really well this week. But deadlifts, I mean, honestly, they went fine. If you just want to say like consistently, like I'm consistent, I was able to still pull um, like 98% of my max, but I could not. I did go for a PR just because it was kind of like the feeling in the room. A few other people were, and the bar was already loaded to what would have been a PR for me, so I kind of went for it. Broke it off the ground and just sort of floated it for, you know, when you float a deadlift and can't really move it, it feels like forever, but it was probably like 2 seconds. Um, Thought about going for it again because nothing hurt, but it just, yeah, I felt like I might have gotten just a little out of position on it, and that might have been what caused the problem, caused me to fail it. But it doesn't matter. I wasn't planning on PRing anyway. It's not a huge deal. Um, and that was from the floor anyway. I have to start working like 18-inch and silver dollar style deadlifts for the next little bit. I may just kind of transition between the two week to week, just for a little bit of variety. Seems like the higher pulls actually, when I went back to from the floor, they seem to be doing better. So I'm not in any kind of a hurry to like, it's not like I need my deadlift to be a lot higher right now. So I'm not in a, I don't feel terrible about it. It just, it just wasn't there on Thursday. That's all there was to it. I wasn't even upset. For once, like missing a PR attempt, I wasn't upset at all because I was just like, didn't plan on doing it, didn't, really need to do it. So it's like, it is what it is. I wasn't upset. Um, Monday squats went well though. The deload last week definitely helped. Um, Finally back up to 315 for reps, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like it's taken a long time for me to get back there with squats. Changed up my stance a lot, changed up positioning of the bar, changed a lot of things on my specific squat mechanics. Not necessarily for efficiency purposes, but just to recruit the muscles that I want to recruit on a back squat. I used to do a very powerlifting style squat, very hip dominant squat. Nothing inherently wrong with it. There's nothing inherently wrong with like switching between a few different styles, throughout even a cycle. Um, but I spent a lot of time just working on going towards more of a high bar style squat, more of a knees forward style squat, much more narrow stance, closer to my deadlift stance, um, more quad dominant. Really is what it comes down to. Um, Style squat. Just because I do a lot of things that are very hip dominant anyway, and I don't necessarily need my squats to be. And if you ever hear somebody sort of talk about, say, low bar versus high bar squat, one being more quad and one being more hip dominant, Um, the thing to understand about that is like it's the difference is not like, yes, if you put the bar, 2 inches lower on your back where it's resting on your scapula versus your delts, all of a sudden you're recruiting 90% of the work from your hips versus 90%, from your quads. It's not really how it works. I mean, we're talking. There's really not that much difference. Um, but generally speaking, when you do a high bar squat, you tend to be a little more upright, which is what I wanted for my particular squat style to be. I wanted that to be like going forward, that to be sort of my normal. Was a little more upright of a squat and just more quads in it. I want to squat to build quads right now. Strength mostly. I don't care too much about size right now. But it's still good to be back up there and squatting 315 for reps, and it not feeling the complete end of the world. Um, just hitting 315 for one not that long ago was like crazy, and I've done more. I think it was up in the 400 low fours at one point with a low bar and a very wide stance squat. So right now everything's kind of a PR just because it's so different. But it'll be very exciting to get back up to the fours with this new squat pattern, and then get to the point where 315 for reps is a warm up. Again, I should say. I mean, I used to do 315 for like 5 to 10 with very little effort. Um, then I had a back injury, set me back there, kind of scared me off squatting a little bit. Changed some things around, got back to it because it's like I gotta squat. I need to. It's a good movement. That's all there is to it. It's a good movement. So I'm rambling, but I was at the end of the day, I am happy with how Monday's squat session went, and overall leg day went. Tuesday's press day, on the other hand, it was just super ambitious. Finally broke through that stupid like 200-pound barrier. Finally, with like a very significant PR, just kind of a random on the whim one. And I was being very ambitious, and I was like, what, I'd like to hit like 90% for like a bunch of singles. I think that'd be cool. And in hindsight, it's like you probably should have done like 85, 87, and a half for like doubles at best. And that is actually what I ended up having to do. And I was very capable of doing those. But, I came in on Tuesday and everything just felt heavy. And I was like, well, maybe we'll just push through. And I let myself get a little angry at missing it. I mean, I still hit 200 for one. So, but yeah, I should have just read the room, read my own body, and listened to it. But decided to push it a little bit. Nothing got injured, which is always the important part. And then, like I said, Thursday on deadlifts, uh, still managed to hit 98%. I mean, it's like as close to 100% as you can get without being at 100. It was like a 5 pound difference. And then went for a PR and just couldn't get it. And it was fine. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not upset about it. And then today was just a little accessory day for pressing. I've been doing a lot of dumbbell dumbbell bench. It's kind of like a modified fly. I really like doing it. It really stretches out the chest, but also works the triceps a little bit. And a little bit of grip work, a little bit of back work. Been doing back work all week. Upper back is super sore. Cannot wait to give it a touch of a break for the next couple days. Um, and yeah. Other than that, um, was planning on going to the Arnold's this weekend, and then it's one thing after another. It just didn't work out. And but I'm having a good time watching it. I'm having a good time texting my friends that are there. It is a little. I don't even know what the word to describe it, but it's just like, oh man, I just keep seeing posts on Instagram of all these people I know that are there, and I was like, oh man, kind of just wish I was there just to see a bunch of my friends that I don't get to see all the time, because sometimes they don't go to Worlds, they only go to Nationals, and I don't tend to go to Nationals. Um, you know, so it would have been nice to run into a bunch of people I haven't seen in a while, um, and meet some people that I actually haven't even met in real life yet. But we're online friends, we're online besties. But it's okay. Yeah, this week was overall pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, and then just looking forward to kind of uh, starting training. Going to get the program sorted out for the show in Texas. Plan some trips. I sourced some equipment um, somewhere we can train Silver Dollar, and I think if we just touch it once or twice in the prep, we should be fine. Because I mean, I didn't touch it at all before, and I did amazing at it. So, uh, yeah, the stupid number I have in my head is 900. I want to pull 900 on that Silver Dollar deadlift, and I really think I can. I'm stronger than I was back then, and yeah, I want to give that a go. So that'll be fun. And then sourced a relatively local friend who has some Finkel's fingers, so I'll be able to touch those once or twice before prep, or during prep, I should say. And then other than that, just working my throws, which those are actually surprisingly coming along pretty well as of late. Even did some throws on Thursday, and they were good. It was weird, like they were just good again. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess, and just go from there. And then yeah, that's really the only like specialty equipment because we have an apparatus we can use for a Viking press, so that's not a big deal. And I already know I can handle comp weight to an extent, but my pressing is getting better, so not gonna complain. Probably gonna start working in like behind the neck presses a little bit, just to work on that mobility a little bit more, because it's never a bad thing. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know, I guess just check out the Arnold's tomorrow. Today's show was a really fun, cool one, and it's so weird because like I've met like three or four of the guys that are competing. The pros, the top pros. Um, but I've met all but I think three of the women that are competing this year, which is such a cool, weird feeling, and like on good terms, like acquaintances with like three or four of them that are there too. So it's so weird, like seeing people like there. And I should probably try to find the live stream for the amateurs too, because I know there's a lot of people on the amateur Arnold's strongman side that I know. Even some of the world's strongest firefighters, I know a couple of them. A few of them are actually locals, which is a lot of fun. So I would say check that out tomorrow. And if you don't, then what's your excuse?